Game over.
Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to Movie Deathmatch Beatdown, where I talk about movies while playing video games. We're playing Halo 4, we've got people talking, let's mute their voices. And we're on a map I really don't like, so this is going to be fun. Okay, we're going to be talking about the movie Jupiter Ascending, directed by the Wachowskis, starring Mila Kunis and Channing Tatum, and a bunch of other people. You can see it now if you really want to at the cinema, but I'm here to tell you, don't really bother, or at least don't get your hopes up, if you had any hopes. Because everyone else I talked to already has written this off. Yeah, I still went in with optimism, and the Wachowskis have let me down once again. I mean, they're not horrible filmmakers, they've made The Matrix, and as I keep forgetting, they made V for Vendetta, which is actually a really good Alan Moore adaptation. Even though there's like a lot of changes to it, I think it works as a film still really well. Maybe the themes are a bit muddled, but I think it's kind of up there with Watchmen, which, once again, very polarizing film, and Alan Moore adaptation yet again, but I still think brilliant, fantastic. Nope, focus. But then they've also made stuff like the Matrix sequels. 1, alright one, 2, really... Oh, yeah, and the second one was like the horrible one. Revolutions? Yeah, Revolutions was the third one, I think. And that was not good. Reloaded was fine, it's got some great action in it, it's also got some really bad CG in it. But that's what the early 2000s were for films. That just weird, like, not uncanny valley, but like smooth sort of CG to it. Like a lot of Neo fighting the agents, for example, was not as well as it could have been done. Though I might have to revisit those movies and talk about them somehow. Jupiter Ascending, though, I can't describe the plot to you. I know what it is, but it's just very convoluted and silly, and not in a fun, silly way, because it's trying to be serious in some sorts of ways, and it's very tonally all over the place. But I don't want to give it 1 star. It looks nice, and it's an original science fiction movie, which we don't get enough of as of late. I mean, we've got stuff like Looper, and even though it's probably going to be terrible, Project Almanac is coming out. And that's like found footage, science fiction time travel movie, which I'll probably talk about as well, because I will certainly watch that. Maybe it will be like the science fiction version of Into the Storm, where it was like a alright movie. Yeah, I actually kind of like Into the Storm, because it is very well done in the set pieces terms, not great in the found footage actual storytelling terms. But as you can see, I'm distracting myself talking about a bunch of other movies that aren't the movie I want to talk about it. Because Jupiter Ascending is just a shoulder shrug of a movie. It's not the worst thing ever. It's got some hammy performances, and it's not funny intentionally. It's all unintentional humour to it. Oh no, I've landed right on a grenade. And I don't know. I just don't know what went wrong. Maybe it's because no one really read the script that wasn't the Wachowskis, so there isn't any filter or like suggestions of editing it to work a bit more. It's like they've got to put all of their ideas, and they're all batshit insane ideas. Like you've got like half human, half bee-man, elephant pilots which take serious scenes completely out of the whole air of seriousness and into the air of parody. It's got action, which, for the people that made The Matrix, and I guess V for Vendetta, it's like they've forgotten how to shoot action, as well as how to write characters, especially female characters. And I'll talk about Mila Kunis in a second. But the action is all the whole stupid close-ups and cutting, which I'm not sure if it's to make this film a 12A, or if it's just because they didn't want to use Channing Tatum's actual good physicality, because that dude can move. Have you not seen Magic Mike? And if you laugh, I think you should still watch it. It's still actually okay. Oh, oh, oh no, oh no, oh, boom. Finally, comeback kill. Have I not been killing people? I'm sorry, I've been talking about loads of movies that aren't Jupiter Ascending. But yeah, it's a 2-star film at best. It's got some okay action sequences. It drops its interesting characters at the drop of a hat. Like, there's some bounty hunters in it that show up, and you're like, okay, these people are pretty cool. I want to see their story. They're just there to get the characters from point A to point B, and then they're gone. So you have to forget about them, and then you meet in 3 different sequences. So, like, there's like many acts to the film, because films aren't really 3 acts, if they're good ones, and if they're people who haven't actually bothered reading a screenwriting book, and to do their own thing, and that sort of works. And like, in each sequence, we meet like a different family member that wants to inherit the Earth, because Mila Kunis has the entitlement of owning the Earth because of reincarnation and a bunch of other weird plot stuff. And it's all so silly and far-fetched, and there's no real villain in it. Like, Eddie Redmayne's supposed to be the bad guy, but he mutters a lot, and then he does hilarious screaming afterwards to end his sentences, and that's where the laughs come from, his really bad acting. And I don't know if I really want to talk about Jupiter Ascending. It's not really a movie to hate, and it's not one to love. It's just a film that exists, and I guess that's why it was pushed back all the way to January, because it was supposed to come out ages ago. And so, yeah, I am let down. I think the Wachowskis still have talent. You can still see some of it in Jupiter Ascending, but it just didn't click with me, and it, by the looks of things, doesn't click with any of the audience that have like seen it or talked about it or whatever. It's just a movie that has loads of stupidity, and the more you think about it, the sillier it gets. It's just a mess. It's a train wreck. It's all the bad things you can have in a mainstream movie. And there's not many redeeming factors to it. Mila Kunis is a weak female who is like shown to like grow each time, but then Channing Tatum swoops in and saves the day, thus negating all progress that Mila Kunis makes as a character and as a person in this film. And then there's stupid themes like how she has to find a mate and stuff like that, and it's all about love and destiny and weird bestiality subtext that isn't really subtext because it's right there on the page. And there's silly stuff like Sean B is half bee, and there's a lot of bee stuff in it which doesn't make sense. And Channing Tatum both is in love with Jupiter but also doesn't want to be because he's part wolf, and wolf don't like nobility and stuff or something, and he has to be like a lone wolf. And it's so tedious and boring, and all the action scenes after the first couple are pointless and aren't effective or impressive or anything. The set pieces are bland. See, this is why I want to talk about other movies right now, because Jupiter Ascending doesn't infuriate me. It has not offended me at all. It's just a movie that has a lot of problems, but it's made by people who know how to make movies. And this just seems to be another misstep in their journey of being alright filmmakers. Don't know what they're doing next, but whatever it is, I will still watch it for some reason. I don't know what it is. I guess it's because, as I've always said to people while talking about this movie, they made The Matrix, and that movie has had a profound effect on me. as my connoisseur is like a cinephile and an action movie guy, and it's like showing you Keanu Reeves in like an action-packed light, and thanks to them we have John Wick, and I guess that's another thing that I must thank the Wachowskis for, because of The Matrix and because of Keanu's stunt double, those guys got to make a movie starring Keanu Reeves, which of the time of recording this, they've been talking about making a John Wick franchise, which makes me like the happiest cinephile around. Like, as an action movie fan, I will watch whatever those guys make, and I guess I have to thank the Wachowskis for it in some weird, disconnected, universal way. And I think that is a much better example of the planets aligning and a bunch of themes inside Jupiter Ascending. That just seems to be a lot more effective when you talk about a movie that these people made 15 years ago. And I just don't know. I guess that's the end of this episode. I'm going to be talking about Inherent Vice next, even though I watched that before Jupiter Ascending. But you'll see in my review why I had to think about it a little bit more. But for now, this has been Movie Deathmatch Beatdown. I've been talking about Jupiter Ascending while not being very good at Halo for once. And I will catch you next time.